Hello Commanders, welcome back to Elite Dangerous, it's Ricardo. Well, as Elite Dangerous Commanders, we are all striving for that extra level of immersion. And different levels of immersion will suit different commanders. Today, I'd like to show you the Tobii Eye Tracker 5. Now, full disclosure, Tobii has sent me Eye Tracker 5 to review with Elite Dangerous. So, that's the disclaimer, we're getting straight out the way. But what we're going to do today is we're going to go through the installation of the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 software, the hub, the Ghost software as well, how to use it in streaming, how to add it into your Stream Deck, and exactly what it looks like in Elite Dangerous. And does it work? And does it work well? And we're going to try and give a nice sort of like objective review. As part of their Bonanza event, Tobii are running a 15% discount Bonanza until August the 5th, 2024. And in addition to that, there's also a sweepstake to win some game keys, and the links are in the description. Okay then, so full disclosure here once again that Tobii did indeed sponsor this video and sent me this unit, the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 for testing. That all being said though, they've asked me to be honest and have a review and talk about any problems that I find with it as well and address any concerns. So that is what I am going to do in the format of Elite Dangerous. So strap in, let's get on with it. So here what we're going to do is set up our Tobii Eye Tracker, and for that, first of all, we're going to work out what it is you actually get. Well, the Tobii Eye Tracker 5, straight off the bat, you'll notice that there's quality there, and it's quality there in the box. I was quite surprised, to be honest with you. I was expecting something a bit more flimsy, but it's a solid piece of kit. In the box, you are going to get your Tobii Eye Tracker, you're going to get a USB extender cable, which is well worthwhile, also a bracket, some instructions, and 2 adhesive magnets. Now, as I mentioned, this particular unit, it's mostly metal. To be perfectly honest with you, I was really surprised at the quality. It's rugged. It really is rugged. So for placing the Tobii, you can either use the bracket that fits underneath the monitor, or you can have it stuck to the outside bezel of the monitor with the adhesive magnetic pads. There is another option that's just been released as well. This is something that you can attach your Tobii Eye Tracker 5 to a camera-like bezel and place it on a tripod. So that could be an option for some people who want it, say, perhaps sat behind your monitor. Now with that out the way, we want to get ourselves over to the gaming.tobii.com website. This is where we're going to be able to install the drivers and other supporting software. So as you can see, this is the Tobii Eye Tracker 5, and at the top you've got several tabs at the top of the website. We're particularly interested in the downloads section of things, but we're going to click on that. That's going to take us to where we can download our software. Now, first off the bat, you want to be looking at the Tobii Eye Tracker driver, and then after that, then the Tobii Ghost solution, and then the Tobii Game Hub. So the Tobii box I've got selected right there. That's going to involve the driver that you need for your version of Windows. Now, typically, if you plug in your Tobii Eye Tracker into your computer, Windows Update should download the driver automatically. If it doesn't, however, then click on that button on this site and you'll be able to download one of the latest drivers for the Tobii Eye Tracker 5. But before we do that, it's worthwhile mentioning some of the other applications in the software download section. In particular, the Tobii Ghost. Now here you can see version 1.141. Depending on when you get to this site, it could be a different number, but the Tobii Ghost solution is very good, and it's an add-on of software that enables you to, as a streamer, show people where you're looking. The Tobii Ghost gives like a blob or a heat map on the screen, but we'll cover that a little bit later. And then of course you've got the Tobii Game Hub. Now again, there's update notes and release notes for both of these, and the Tobii Game Hub is the software that will link your game to the Tobii Eye Tracker device. Now we're going to download the Tobii driver, no problem at all. We're going to select the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 product, which is what we've got, but you can see there's other products there as well. We're going to download that driver. Now I'm using Microsoft Edge, it'll go directly into my downloads folder and I'll be able to access it from there. The release notes it's always worthwhile having a look through that and all new functionality as well. Now, there are going to be different functionality released over time, and it's always worthwhile seeing what's been fixed in the path, in my experience. Okay, we've downloaded our file to our Tobii Eye Tracker 5, and we're going to get that device driver installed. Double clicking on the Tobii Eye Tracker offline installer that we got from their website is going to provide us with the installation of the software. It does take a few seconds, however, although Microsoft's idea of a few seconds can be anything from 60 seconds to 1, depending on your system. Now, this also turns around and lets you start to configure. Now, it says here, and it prompts you all the way through, get an app to open this Tobii eye tracking link. Your PC does not have an app that can open this link. Try looking for a compatible app in the App Store. You can browse the App Store at this stage, eventually, and here's the Tobii experience, which happens to be free. We can say yes, we'll get that. Now, straight off the bat, you can see the Tobii experience has downloaded, which is all great stuff, and it's playing a little video giving you a demonstration of what it's like in a particular truck driving simulator or in a third-person war game. All good stuff, and you can see the benefits that it's actually giving you in-game. So that's okay, we're going to get started, and we're going to click the Get Started button. Right. Here's the deal. We've got the standard enterprise end-user license agreement. They say they do not track what you see or what apps you're using. Instead, we sense and respond to your movements. So there's a disclaimer. They don't see what you see and they don't track what you're using. We're going to say accept. And here we go. Now, where is your eye tracker? So it's on this display. I'm running 2 monitors. If I wanted to go on another display, my secondary display, for example, I would click this button here, this monitor, and it would shift to my secondary monitor. But I'm happy with this being my main display, and this is where I'm going to be using my Tobii Eye Tracker 5. Okay, now this is quite interesting. On your Tobii Eye Tracker 5, you're going to have on top of it 2 white lines. Now these 2 white lines not only tell you it's the right way up, then so does the Tobii logo on the front. If the words are the right way up, you've got it the right way up. What you have to do here is move the lines to the marks on top of your eye tracker. Now, you can move these lines on the screen to tell exactly where the Tobii Eye Tracker is, but the default settings are not so bad. But placement underneath the monitor is another aspect. Now you can see there's a magnetic strip there that you can use on the front bezel of the monitor, or you can use the little bracket that's been provided that's also got a magnetic strip to fit underneath the monitor. It's completely up to you. And they've got adhesive pads that you can use isopropyl alcohol on there to get any muck or grease or anything else off the base of your monitor to ensure it to stick. What they do say is that when you do stick it to the base of your monitor, leave it 24 hours for the glue to take before actually sticking your Tobii Eye Tracker on there, because that unit is surprisingly heavy for what it is. Apply a little bit of pressure and away you go. Now it's important to note that the Tobii Eye Tracker does have a magnetic back on the actual unit to allow it to marry up to the magnet that you're either using on your bracket at the base of the monitor or on the bezel that you've placed on the front bezel of your monitor. So it's magnetic, so that's how it's going to stick to your sticker. And whether or not you've stuck it to the top bezel of your monitor or the bottom bezel of your monitor, depending on what you've done with it, you know, wherever you've stuck this eye tracker, you have to make sure that these arrows here line up with the lines that you've got on your screen by default. Now, I'm making a slight adjustment where I think they are by moving these arrows here. And when I'm ready and convinced that's what it is, I'm going to click Done. Next up, it says sit in an upright position, your standard gaming position. And once I've done that, I'm going to click Done. Now it's going to show me where my eyes are. Now really these should be most in the middle of the screen as you possibly can. Well, this is how I sit. There's no other way of doing that. You could raise or lower your seat. Now we're going to calibrate at the eyes. Look at the dot in the middle and it'll explode. Look at the top dot. Look at the bottom right. Look at the bottom left. Okay, we're going to go for an inverted triangle. Straight at the bottom, it's exploded. There you go, it exploded again. And that one. Might need a bit of further calibration. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to say calibration successful. We're going to call it Ricardo 1. And perhaps I'll do it in proper case. There's my Ricardo 1. No problem. So if you've got multiple people using the same PC, you can set up different calibration profiles for the people who use your PC. Save. Brilliant. Well, that's all done now. As you can see from this, we've got game, stream, privacy, productivity. What I'm particularly interested in, and is the scope of this video, is to click on this profile by here, right there, and it brings up the Tobii experience. Well, the experience is on, and if you've got your Tobii Eye Tracker 5 plugged into your PC at the moment, you'll see all the scanning lights are on and it's looking at my face. Now, to improve calibration, if you've changed where the PC is or the lighting's drastically changed, you can go through that entire initial setup once again. You can say improve calibration just to go through this, but it'll say these are your eyes. Okay, those are my eyes. It's seen my eyes. My eyes are there. There you go. Good old eyes. Now we're going to look at the dots again. So I'm looking directly at that dot in the middle. Kapow! And it's exploded. So it's just getting you to go through. Perhaps there might be some slight changes in where you've been sitting. Now it's the inverse triangle. There you go. It's got a problem that top left-hand corner. Don't know what's going on there. Calibration successful. But it could go a lot smoother. But it's up to you to tweak that to get the best results. So I've improved my calibration. Next thing, preview my gaze. Well, what's it actually seeing and tracking? Well, this is the ghost that I told you about. Wherever I'm looking, that's where it's tracking my eyes, my head, and all that. Now, if you want to move the sensor to a different monitor, again, you can set up the display, and that goes through the whole palaver of adjusting the lines and everything. And at that point, you can then turn around and say, ooh, I might want to create another user profile. But at this stage of the game, this is the Tobii eye tracking kind of setup, right, in a standard configuration. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to install Ghost and the Game Hub. Ways wise to have the driver installed and the Tobii experience straight off the bat. It may also prompt you for Visual Studio extendables, but it'll also prompt you to download those part of the installation process. So we're going to install Tobii Ghost. We're going to have a desktop shortcut and also a start menu shortcut. Confirm, and it gives us, after a short installation, this, which is brilliant. We've got the option to have a plugin for Stream Deck. We can say get plugin, and then we can go open the Stream Deck and you can say install. This is the Elgato Stream Deck website. As you can see, I've got my Stream Deck all down here already. There's my Tobii Ghost, there's the enable, and there's the select profile aspect of things. So with this, what you can do, you've got an enable button. No problem, you've got the select profile. I got one for bubble and one for heat map, and we'll go into that a little bit later. But I just wanted to show you that it does integrate well into Stream Deck. Right, so okay. We've got the Ghost. Now we're going to go into settings, which is all great, well and good. Now you have the option on the left hand side to stream using the Twitch extension, and it's going to ask you to go in there and validate against your Twitch account, which you can do. You can also then embed Ghost into the content of which you create. again, I think I'll do a different video on this, as this is specifically how to get it working in Elite Dangerous. But what we've got here is the Tobii Ghost section of things. Now, with Tobii Ghost, you can turn it on and turn it off. So to turn it off, there's a selection number pad. All right, so that number pad, if I press 2 on the number pad, outside of my Stream Deck, I can turn Tobii Ghost off. If I want to preview what I'm seeing, I can just put it on there, no problem at all. Customize the appearance, we can restore it to default. Now, what I've done here is that I've got a profile named Bubble, and you can see I've got bubbles on the screen. That's okay, and that's going to come into Stream Deck in a moment. If I click on my Stream Deck and look at Bubble, I've dragged the select profile over into this area. I've called it Bubble, and I've called the profile Bubble as well. Now if I switch to heat map, right, you can see where my eyes are tracking has changed from the lovely red bubble to the heat map. Okay, and you can set how that degrades and decays on the screen as to not make a right mess. Personally, stick with Bubble. I'm alright with that. And you can set the size of that bubble as well, right? You can just move it down so it's smaller. And then once you've done that, you update the profile. Okay, so you can select whether you want a solid shape, you want a bubble, or you want a heat map, and then assign them to different profiles. But I'm going for bubble, and that suits me fine. You can also stipulate what colour you want. Now for me, I've got a slight visual impairment after having eye surgery, and dark blues are not for me. I'm not really going to see it. I want something that's going to catch my eyes, whether it's going to be yellow, whether it's going to be red. And once you've made those changes, again, update your profile. Now, the decay, you can set. The trail, you can set. Or you can set everything, discard those settings, and have it as you just had it, or have it restored to default right there. So it's worthwhile mentioning a little bit now in regards to what's happening around with Twitch. Select on that. You can now transfer your eye tracking data to Twitch and adjust the latency to synchronize the Ghost virtualization to your video stream, which is all good stuff, right? If you want to. I've actually got it connected to my Ricardos Gaming 71 Twitch account, where I stream on Saturdays and Sundays with Elite Dangerous. And I've also got the tracked area. Now my stream comes out in 1920 by 1080, so that's going to be my tracked area. Now, you can also embed Ghost into the content while also using the Twitch extension, alright? But I'm not going to go there just yet. And I'm going to have a pop-up for Twitch viewers, which will show viewers a pop-up introducing eye tracking when they open up our stream. Because hey, it's a little bit of advertising, is it not? Finally now, it's all about the Tobii Game Hub. And again, once again, you can create a desktop shortcut and a start menu shortcut. Because you've got your Tobii Eye Tracker 5 plugged into the computer, then you can see the input device has been picked up. If that is not showing up, then I would repeat the previous steps once again. So, okay, and you can go to the gaming.tobii.com website to pull up a different help troubleshooting information. Or give me a shout in the comments, I'll endeavour to help you out. This Game Hub now is what links the Tobii Eye Tracker to your games and the games that you want. Here you've got new games that have been supported. Camera Boost is now in DCS World and soon to be in Elite Dangerous, and you can learn a little bit about that. So what is indeed Camera Boost? Well, as it says here, Camera Boost creates an additional boost to your head tracking rotation when you rotate your head towards where you are looking on the screen. The boost gets stronger the further from the center of the screen you are looking, and we'll have a good old look at that. And Elite Dangerous is due to release on July 25th. But all cool stuff. And it says it's already in Star Citizen, War Thunder, DCS, X-Plane 12 and 11. Okay, so that's what it is so far, and as they get released, we'll update amendments to this video. So what we're going to do, out of here now, we're going to go into our games, click on games, and it'll see straight away, we'll do a quick refresh, all the games that currently are supported by the Tobii Eye Tracker hardware and software. Now you can see good old farming simulator, I'm a fan, Euro Truck Simulator, American Truck Simulator, X4 Foundation, Star Citizen, and Elite Dangerous. Elite Dangerous and the Tobii Eye Tracker 5. Now, if you select that, you have the option of simple and advanced. You can set the sensitivity as well, up or down, given how much sensitivity you want to put in, right, with this particular game. So you can turn it up, turn it down. And then once you're done, you can save it to your profile. Now, some of the most important things on this simple interface here is going to be the enable disable key. Now, I've got it set to toggle, right? The number 8 on the keypad will disable Tobii Eye Tracker. Now, why would I want to do this? Sometimes it could make you a little bit nauseous, or sometimes it's not going to lend itself to the gameplay. Also, the next thing is, do you want to center your view on disable? Well, decides whether or not the view will center when you've disabled it through the hotkey. So I've pressed NPAD 8, turned it off, it'll center straight on the screen. There is a problem, kind of, with Elite Dangerous, but we'll get to that when we get to the game. Reset the head tracking key. Recenters your in-game camera based on your head position and orientation. Do this once you're in the game and every time you change a seating position. So I've got that of keypad number 5. The reason for that is that, well, you could get a little bit out of position, excited, press 5, it'll center you on the screen. And also you've got head auto sensor, which after a while will sort of like drag your position back into the center of the game. Now on the advanced settings, you can really get into some different messing about. So here I am in an Elite Dangerous Odyssey Apex taxi. If you've got Odyssey, then you know all about the Apex. It gets you home, so to speak. A to the P to the EX. And I've got my Tobii Eye Tracker 5 on. You can see I can quite easily look around the cockpit and even give the eye to the taxi driver. One thing to point out though, when you get out of your taxi and you go into the Odyssey sort of like first person space leg mode, the Tobii Eye Tracker won't work. That's down to using your normal control method and then also using your mouse to look around. The same is going to be true when we get into the SRV and you get into the turret. The turret is also going to be a sort of first person mode and the tracker will not work in that mode. But here you are, you can see you can still have a good experience with the old antiquated mouse look view as opposed to the Tobii tracker. And it does work really well, as we all know. Jumping back into the cockpit, and now I'm in my DBX Explorer, you can see I can look around the screen quite nicely and easily without having to press that button and use that mouse look. Now in regards to camera boost, if you start to gaze in a particular area of the screen, then extend your gaze, you will then get the camera boost option. Now the Tobii Eye Tracker camera boost is a feature that came into production, especially for Elite Dangerous, around July the 3rd, 2024, and it's a feature that enhances head tracking experience by combining your eye movements with your head movements to control the camera in this particular game, Elite Dangerous. That amplified head tracking when you turn your head to look at something on the screen, the camera boost feature intensifies the camera's rotation in that direction. And it's that gaze-based adjustment, that intensity of the boost, which is determined by how far your gaze is from the center of the screen. The closer your gaze is to the edge, the stronger the boost. And it's quite natural and intuitive. This combination of eye and head tracking creates a more natural and intuitive experience, especially in Elite Dangerous, and especially when trying to look behind you, perhaps in a dogfighting situation as well. Now here's a good thing, and I expected this to work as well, as the Tobii Eye Tracker working in the SRV. This would be absolutely fantastic in doing exobiology in-game and having a wider field of view. A lot of commanders do still zoom around in their ships looking for items. I mean, it's nice and easy to spot those geysers that I can see over there. Geysers, geysers, you know what I mean. And look for the next one out the window, up. and everywhere. Now, going into the turret, however, then you are then restricted somewhat then to having just mouse movement and no Tobii Eye Tracker with that, as I'd expected it to be, because you've got that sort of front line, first line sort of like field perspective. Going back into the cockpit, however, there you are. Not forgetting you can still recenter with the 5 key that I've set, and I've also got the option to turn this off as well. All good stuff. So, it's a plus from the SRV side of things. Even when dismissing your ship on a planet, look towards the top of the screen, you can see it disappear. And then when you're ready to bring that ship back in, as soon as it stops departing, you can bring it back, and hopefully you can catch it coming into land, which really is a spectacle. There it is. You can see it's coming in. You can see through the sunroof of the SRV, here comes the ship. And some things you forget to do, and you know, you're not really experiencing the full aspect of the game. This allows you to have that full aspect. There it is. Cool. What we got to do now is try and get our SRV now parked inside. Should be quite easy. Now, in essence, what do I think? Well, there are many benefits for the Tobii Eye Tracker. That being the improved immersion, the feature can make you feel more connected to this virtual world we're currently playing in, and by mirroring your real-world head movements. Right? There's that enhanced control, that enhanced experience that we're getting as well, and that, I suppose, that reduced strain. Minimizing excessive head movements and camera boost can help reduce neck strain as well. Something that you would probably get if you're wearing a VR headset with this game as well. But in essence, the Tobii Eye Tracker camera boost offers a more dynamic and immersive experience, as does the unit by itself. Leveraging the power of both eye and head tracking in-game. Why haven't we used this before? Why aren't more people using head tracking? Personally, I'm very happy with the Tobii Eye Tracker, and I will be using it in-game. I've been Ricardo. Thanks very much for watching this review and installation, configuration and usage of the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 in Elite Dangerous. I've tried to be as objective as possible. It's very difficult to find a flaw in it, to be perfectly honest with you. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. I'll see you soon.